Okay, so let me do the view. So we're doing chapter 6, the glories of Sri Advait Acharya. So we have done Lord Chaitanya, we have done Lord Nityanand, now it's Lord Advait Acharya. So the summary is on the top of the page. Does somebody want to read the summary, and then we'll take it from there?
I can read, Babaji.
Please go ahead, Gayatri.
The truth of Advaita Acharya has been described in 2 verses. It is said that material nature has 2 features, namely the material cause and the efficient cause. The efficient causal activities are caused by Mahavishnu, and the material causal activities are caused by another form of Mahavishnu known as Advaita. That Advaita, the superintendent of the cosmic manifestation, has descended in the form of Advaita Acharya to associate with Lord Chaitanya. When he is addressed as the servitor of Lord Chaitanya, his glories are magnified, because unless one is invigorated by this mentality of servitorship, one cannot understand the mellows derived from devotional service to the Supreme Lord Krishna.
Right. So I should point out, first of all, that this is the repeat of verses 12 and 13 of chapter 1, where they talked about the glories of Lord Advait Acharya. Just like the last chapter was 5 verses about Lord Nityanand from 7 to 11. So there's a lot of repeat. You will read things that will sound very familiar. But I want to remind you again, and we'll see in more detail later on, that there are actually 2 features of Mahavishnu. Everybody remembers Mahavishnu? What does Mahavishnu do?
He is just lying in the ocean and then the creator creating the world.
Okay, so tell me more specifically, what does he do?
He glances at the
Yes, yes. He glances at Mahamaya, the material nature, and then what? How do the universes appear? What does he do?
From his pores. He's breathing in and out, and the universes are appearing from his pores.
So what's he doing, in or out? When they're coming out?
When they're coming out, he is, yeah.
Sorry, say again?
Exhaling.
Exhaling. Okay, all right. So that's what he's doing. So there's 2 things he's doing, right? He's glancing at the material nature, and that glance, what is transferred with that glance?
The jivas.
The jivas, the living entity, is transferred. And the material nature, which is dull matter, becomes energized. Right? Second part that he does is produces all these billions and trillions of universes from every pore in his body. So then we have talked about the concept of nimitta and upada, which is the material cause and efficient cause, by giving the example of a potter. Anybody remembers that? The potter and the pots and the wheel and the stick.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So the potter is the effective cause or nimitta. And the soil or the mud and the wheel, etc., are the upadan or the material cause. So similarly, Mahavishnu is the efficient cause and Advaita is material cause, because he's the one, that feature of Mahavishnu, Advaita Acharya, is the one that's producing the universes. Okay, so we'll talk in a lot more detail later on this chapter, but I'm just trying to remind you, if you remember any of that, that's what they're talking about in the summary. The efficient cause and material cause. Okay, the second point that's being made is summary, is that he is a servitor God. What does that mean? What does servitor God mean?
One who serves the Lord?
Yes, so he's God, but he's serving God.
Yeah.
So who's Advaita Acharya serving?
Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
Not Chaitanya. So that's basically the summary. And again, we'll talk in a lot more detail in the next few verses. Okay, so text 1. Vande tam Srimad Advaita Acharyam Adbhut Cheshtitam Yasya prasadat akyupi tat swarupam nirupayet. Translation. I offer my respectful obeisances to Sri Advait Acharya, whose activities are all wonderful. By his mercy, even a foolish person can describe his characteristics. So again, this humility of Krishnadas Kaviraj is coming out. He's saying it is by his mercy that I'm able to write this book.
Yeah.
Okay, text 2. Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityanand Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. So again, every chapter starts with this verse and ends with the verse that we talked about last week, where he is offering obeisances to Rupa Goswami and Raghunath. So here he is offering obeisances to Lord Chaitanya, Lord Nityanand, Lord Advait Acharya, all the devotees of Lord Chaitanya. So all glories to Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, all glories to Lord Nityanand, all glories to Advait Acharya, and all glories to all the devotees of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Text 3. Panch Shloka Kahila Shri Nityananda Tattva, Shloka Dvaya Kahi Shri Advait Acharya Mahatva. In 5 verses, 7 to 11, describe the principle of Lord Nityananda. All these verses are explained in last chapter. So whole of last chapter was these 5 verses explained, talk about Lord Nityananda. Now saying in the following 2 verses, I describe the glories of Chaitanya. So these are again the verses 12 and 13 of chapter 1 that we repeated here. Text 4. Mahavishnu Jagatkarta Maya Srijatidaha Tas Avatar Evayam Advait Acharya Ishwaraha. Lord Advait Acharya is incarnation of Mahavishnu. So this is what I was telling a few minutes earlier. Incarnation of Mahavishnu, also a feature of Mahavishnu. Okay, whose main function is to create the cosmic world through actions of Maya. Now, what's not mentioned here is that Advait Acharya is combined form of 2 personalities. Anybody remember? We talked about it before. We read.
Brahma Prabhu?
Sankarshan and Mahavishnu Prabhu.
Say it again, please.
Sankarshan and Mahavishnu.
No.
I thought it was. Is it
Lord
Brahma
Shiva?
Prabhu?
Pitashri Shiv.
Sadashi, yes.
Sadashiv, sorry.
Shiv and Mahavishnu. So basically, the story is that Lord Sadashi was concerned about what's happening in Kali Yuga. So he performed austerities with focus on Mahavishnu. So Lord Mahavishnu appeared, and of course, they're both Supreme Personalities of Godhead. So they had a nice conversation. And Lord Sadashiva said, I'm performing austerities for this reason. Mahavishnu said, you know what? I'm thinking about the same thing. So why don't we combine and appear together? So they combine and appear as Lord Advait Acharya. So Advait Acharya is a combination of Sadashiv and Mahavishnu. Okay. So, okay. Anyway, so that's text 4. This will get elaborated later on. That's why I'm not explaining it much, but this will be explained in the next few verses. Okay, text 5. Advaitam Harinadvaitat Acharyam Bhakti Samsanat Bhaktavataram Isham Tam Acharyam Ashraye. Translation. Because it's non-different from Hari, the Supreme Lord. So remember, Supreme Personality of Godhead. He's called Advaita. Advaita means non-different. So it's non-different from the Lord, hence the name Advaita. And because he propagates the cult of devotion, he's called Acharya. What's the literal meaning of Acharya?
Teacher.
No, more than that.
No, a person who walks his life, like walks the talk, sorry.
Okay, walks the talk. Okay, so teaches by example.
Yeah.
So Acharya is the one. The Acharya means action, activities. So Acharya is the one who's teaching by his activities or by his example. So he's teaching by his example how to perform devotional service. So he's called Acharya. So hence the combined name Advait Acharya. He's the Lord and incarnation of the Lord's devotee. So he's the Lord That means the incarnation of Mahavishnu. And who's the devotee? Sadashiva.
Okay.
Okay. So he's Lord and incarnation of lost devotee. Therefore, I take shelter of him. Okay. And text 6. Advait Acharya Gosai Sakshat Ishwar Chahar Mahima Nahe Jiver Gochar. Shri Advait Acharya is indeed directly the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself, Mahavishnu. His glory is beyond the conception of ordinary living being. No ordinary living being can understand the glories of the Lord. So similarly, we cannot understand the glories of Lord Advait Acharya. Text 7. Mahavishnu Srishti Karen Jagadadi Karya Tar Avatar Sakshat Advait Acharya. Mahavishnu performs all the functions for the creation of the universes. Shri Advait Acharya is his direct incarnation. So we studied this before, so I'm not going to give details of what Mahavishnu does, how he creates the universes, etc. Text 8. Je Purush Srishti Sthiti Karena Mayaye Ananta Brahman Srishti Karena Lilaye. That Purusha, which Purusha is being referred to here? Who's the Purusha?
God.
I'm sorry.
Mahavishnu.
Okay, how's that? Tell me.
Because he's a Purush avatar.
I'm sorry.
He's the Purush avatar.
Okay, yes, this is correct. How many Purusha avatars are there?
3.
Three,
Please,
yeah.
please name them.
Mahavishnu, Garbhodaksha Vishnu, and Kshirodaksha Vishnu.
Very good. Yes. So those are 3 Purusha avatars. He's the first Purusha avatar, Mahavishnu. So he's the one creating and maintaining with his Maya, external energy, the universes. He creates innumerable universes in his pastimes. So when he's creating these universes, other than the creation part, what is Mahavishnu doing at that time? What is his state?
Isn't he just resting?
Casually
on the
lying
ocean.
down.
Well, yeah, he's in Yoga Nidra, which means half asleep. So, there's an expression, oh, it is so easy, I can do it in my sleep. So creation of the universes and the material world is so easy for him, he can do it in his sleep. That should give us an idea of his potency, how glorious he is. Okay, text 9. इच्छाए अनंत मूर्ति करे न प्रकाश एक एक मूर्ति करे न ब्रह्मांडे प्रवेश. By his will he manifests himself in unlimited forms in which he enters each and every universe. So which form is being referred to here now? Text 9.
Garbhodakshay.
Garbhodakshay Vishnu, exactly. So in every universe is entering as Garbhodakshay Vishnu. So one Mahavishnu became trillions and trillions of Garbhodakshay Vishnus. Okay, text 10. Se Purusher अंश अद्वैत नाहि किछु भेद शरीर विशेषतार नाहि कि विच्छेद. Shri Advait Acharya is a plenary part of that Purusha. So again, everybody remembers what plenary means? What's the meaning of the word plenary?
Having all the same potencies as.
Right, exactly. Same power, same potencies. So Advait Acharya is same power, same potencies as that Purusha of the Mahavishnu. And so is not different from Vishnu. There's no difference. They're non-different. Indeed, Shri Advait Acharya is not separate, but it's another form of that Purusha. So this is what we were talking about before. It's not separate from Mahapurusha. It's like another feature. With one feature is glancing at Mahamaya and energizing it. With another feature is producing the universes. And that feature is Advait Acharya.
Okay.
Okay, everybody with me?
Yes.
Okay, good. Text 11. Sahai karen tar loya pradhan, koti brahmand karen ichhai nirman. He, Advait Acharya, helps in the pastimes of Purusha, with whose material energy and by whose will he creates innumerable universes. So here the word pradhan is being used. Hopefully you remember that's the unmanifested form of material energy. And when we got manifested, it's called material energy. That's where all the elements come. Okay. Text 12. Jagat Mangal Advait Mangal Gun Dham Mangal Charitra Sada Mangal Jar Naam. So Mangal means auspicious. So being a reservoir of all auspicious attributes, Shri Advait Acharya is all auspicious for the world. His characteristics, activities, and name are always auspicious. So everything about him is auspicious. I will read that in more detail in the purport. Would I read the purport, first paragraph?
I can read, Prabhu.
Please go ahead, Gopal Prabhu.
Sri Advaita Prabhu, who is an incarnation of Mahavishnu, is an Acharya or teacher. All his activities and all the other activities of Vishnu are auspicious. Anyone who can view all auspiciousness in the pastimes of Lord Vishnu also becomes auspicious simultaneously. Therefore, since Lord Vishnu is the fountainhead of auspiciousness, anyone who is attracted by the devotional service of Lord Vishnu can render the greatest service to human society. Rejected persons of material world who refuse to understand pure devotional service as the eternal function of the living entities and as actual liberation of the living being from conditioned life become bereft of all devotional service because of their poor fund of knowledge. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, thank you. So, point being made here is that, excuse me, that all the activities of Mahavishnu, Advait Acharya, any Supreme Personality of Godhead is auspicious. What does that mean, by the way? What does it mean that everything about him is auspicious?
It brings on good.
Because good, and not only that, anybody who performs service to them also becomes auspicious. And the service to them is also auspicious. So everybody with me? The server, the servant, and the served, and the service, they're all auspicious. Right? It can only do good, can never do bad. So that's one point. Second point is that those people who don't understand or who refuse to understand, it says here, refuse to understand that pure devotional service is the eternal function of all living entities. That is our intrinsic nature. To simply serve Krishna for his pleasure, that's the pure devotional service, is our intrinsic nature. We have forced ourselves to change our nature. We have done that. Okay? And people who reject that concept of serving the Lord purely, they'll never get liberation from the conditioned life. That means they'll be stuck in the material world forever and ever and ever, for eternity. That's why they're known as Nitya, because they don't want to come out. And Prabhupada was basically saying, what can be worse than that? Like, it's a very politely said, poor fund of knowledge. They're saying they're just stupid. But this world is full of stupid people. Yes.
Just a quick question here.
Huh?
Talking of auspiciousness, doesn't that apply to, Lord Chaitanya as well, Lord Nityanand, because they're all incarnations?
That's right. That's what I'm saying. All Supreme Personalities of Godhead are auspicious.
Yeah.
Yes, that's correct. That is correct. Okay. Yeah. All right. Who wants to read the next paragraph?
I can
You're on
read.
mute. Anybody, go ahead, please.
In the teachings of Advaita Prabhu, there is no question of fruitive activities or impersonal liberation. Bewildered by the spell of the material energy, however, persons who could not understand that Advaita Prabhu is non-different from Vishnu wanted to follow him with their impersonal conceptions. The attempt of Advaita Prabhu to punish them is also auspicious. Lord Vishnu and his activities can bestow all good fortune directly and indirectly. In other words, being favored by Lord Vishnu and being punished by Lord Vishnu are one and the same because all the activities of Vishnu are absolute. According to some, Mangala was another name of Advaita Prabhu. As the causal incarnation or Lord Vishnu's incarnation for a particular occasion, He is the supply agent or ingredient in the material nature. However, he is never to be considered material. All his activities are spiritual. Anyone who hears about and glorifies him becomes glorified himself. For such activities, free one from all kinds of misfortune. One should not invest any material contamination or impersonalism in the Vishnu form. Everyone should try to understand the real identity of Lord Vishnu, for by such knowledge, one can attain the highest stage of perfection. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, thank you. So this is a very important paragraph. First point being made is that Advait Acharya, like other supreme personalities of Godhead, is a person, and trying to put some impersonal attributes to him is not a very smart idea. So that's one point being. Second point is that he is not, again, being made again, is non-different from Lord Vishnu. And third point is that Advait Acharya will punish those people who try to make him an impersonal. But even that punishment is auspicious. And that the example is given, Lord Vishnu, whether he favors or punishes, they're both auspicious. Like we recall some weeks ago, we were talking about both the devotees and the demons have the same destination when the demon is killed by Krishna. And then we talked about, well, yes and no. It's same destination in the sense it's a spiritual world, but devotee goes to Golok Dham and demon goes to where? When demon is killed, not about Putna, others. When demon is killed, where do they end up?
Demons goes in the upper look.
Sorry, say again?
Demons goes in like upper looks.
What's the upper low?
Brahmjyoti, Prabhuji.
Brahmajyoti, exactly. That's the spiritual world, the Brahman effulgence. The Brahman effulgence is just simply light, there's nothing there. Demons end up there. Devotees end up in Golok Vrindavan Dham, where Krishna is there present himself and the service to Krishna is there.
Yes.
So it's same but not the same. Right? Yes, no?
Yes, Prabhu, because devotees want to serve Krishna, they have to be within the Golok Vrindavan,
Right.
and
Right.
demon has to go in the.
Right. So the point being made is that both the punishment and favor is the same because Krishna is absolute. So the Advait Acharya is any personality of God. Okay? Is that concept clear? Okay. And then it says, actually, Mangala means auspicious. So that was one of the names of Advait Acharya. Does anybody know any other name of Advait Acharya? What was his name, birth name? Like Advait Acharya is a title. Kamalaksha. That was his birth name.
Kamala?
Kamalaksha.
Aksha.
Aksha means eyes, Kamal means lotus. So the one with lotus eyes. Translation would be that.
Prabhu,
Okay. Huh.
I have a doubt.
Boliye.
Actually, we spoke about whoever is being killed by Lord Vishnu ends up going to Brahma Jyoti, right?
Mhm.
So why is it in Gajendra Moksha that the crocodile goes back to Gandharva Loka then?
No. So, okay. So you found an exception. It's a different context, but you're right. So actually, he was not a demon himself. He was a Gandharva who had been cursed to become a crocodile.
Okay.
So basically, he went back to wherever he came from.
So it was
But-
his
but you-
desire to go back?
No, but so after being Gandharva Lok, then he went to Vishnu Lok because he basically became liberated. So he did not end up in Brahma Jyoti, he ended up in Vishnu Lok, which is Vaikuntha Lok.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So once
Thank you
again,
so
remember
much.
I was saying that generally speaking, they end up there, but Putana was an exception. She ended up in Golok,
Right.
right? And Aghasur also ended up in Golok because
Oh,
he was admiring how innocent the boys are, that they have so much faith in Krishna, they're simply walking into my mouth. Just that gave the qualification to go to Goloka. But generally speaking, they end up in Brahma functions.
Okay. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Thank you.
But then just by the way, one day maybe you can put your video on, at least you can see who you are. Because you've joined us and we have never seen you. So whenever
I
you
will,
feel,
Prabhu. I will in the next class. I will.
that's fine. I'm just saying. Okay. So and then of course, because Supreme Personality of Godhead, everything about him is transcendental. There's nothing material about him. All his activities are spiritual, and anybody who glorifies him becomes glorified himself. And you can see that if you look at any of the Goswamis, how glorified they are. You look at devotees like Nautam Das Thakur, Loknath Swami, they are so much glorified because they glorified the Lord. Bhakti Vinod Thakur, Bhakti Saraswati Maharaj, Srila Prabhupada, they're all glorified. Okay, any questions on that? Okay, text 13. Koti Ansha, Koti Shakti, Koti Avatar, Etalonya Srije Purush Sakala Sansar. Mahavishnu creates the entire material world with millions of his parts, energies, and conditions. So, as I was saying, one Gavadashai Vishnu in every universe. Then Gavadashai Vishnu is an expansion of Mahavishnu, expands again at Chiradashai Vishnu. Right? The Chiradashai Vishnu becomes Paramatma feature. And then all the incarnations are coming from Chiradashai Vishnu. So they're all originally from first Purushottam Mahavishnu. Okay. Text 14. Now this is where the detail is coming. Text 14 and 15 actually. Hi, Usha. Yes, Usha, you have a question? No, okay. Text 14 and 15. Maya जैसे दो ही अंश निमित्त उपादान, माया निमित्त हेतु उपादान प्रधान, पुरुष ईश्वर अच्छे विमूर्ति हुआ, विश्व सृष्टि करे निमित्त उपादान हुआ. Translation. Just as the external energy consists of two parts, the efficient cause, nimitta, and the material cause, upadana. Maya being the efficient cause, pradhan the material cause. So Lord Vishnu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, assumes two forms to create the material world, efficient and material causes. So now this has a very, very long purport. So what we'll do is we will not go through the purport line by line, but I'm going to summarize it in a few sentences so we can continue to move on. So let's go back to different words here. So if you look at the translation again, just as the external energy consists of two parts, the efficient cause, nimitta. So what is efficient cause? Efficient cause is the one that we give the example of potter. Without whom, nothing will work. So for example, the wheel can be there, the stick can be there, and the soil or the mud can be there. But it's still like that, nothing will happen. Until the potter moves the wheel, until the potter picks up and mixes with water, the soil or mud, and then gives it shape. So that is nimitta. So that's one feature of Mahavishnu's nimitta, which is the one which is glancing at the material nature and energizing it, and then enters it so that things start to happen about creation. So that's the nimitta karma. Okay. Then you need material, the mud, the soil. That is called upadan in Sanskrit, and that is pradhan, which is the material nature, which is providing the elements, earth, water, air, fire, ether, etc. So the ingredients are compared with the mud. So that mud is then converted into universes, and that is done by Advait Acharya. So that's the upadan karma, or you can call it material cause. So the material elements are being provided, that's one activity, and the material nature is being activated. So that's like the potter turning the wheel. That is nimitta. Is that correct? Clear? Because all these 3-4 pages, that's basically what they're telling you. Okay, if you want, you can read it later on your own, but that's basically the summary of this 4 pages, 5 pages. Okay. Any questions, comments? All right. Then let's move on to text 16. आपने पुरुष विश्व निमित्त कारण अद्वैत रूपे उपादान हो नारायण. So we further explained here. Translation. But Vishnu himself is the efficient or nimitta cause of the material world. Narayan, the form is the material cause of upadana. So that's what we just discussed. Is that clear? Any questions on this verse? Because that's what we just explained. Okay. Text 17. निमित्तांशे करते हो मायाते इक्षण उपादान अद्वैत करे ने ब्रह्मांड सृजन. Lord Vishnu, his efficient aspect, glances over the material energy. Shri Advait Acharya, as the material cause, creates the material world. And the same thing be repeated. It's very consistent. Any confusion? Everybody with me? Okay. 18. यद्यपि सांख्य माने प्रधान कारण जड़ होते कबू न है जगत सृजन. So Sankhya philosophy, which is the not Lord Kapil Dev, is the fake Kapil Dev, who came up with his own impersonal Sankhya philosophy. It's not third canto Bhagavatam. This is totally different. A fake Kapil Dev who created his impersonalist theory of Sankhya Yoga, gave it the same name, caused all this confusion. Sri Prabhupada is saying that accepts that material elegance are the cause, but material ingredients cannot be the cause because they are dull matter. Dull matter cannot do anything unless they're energized by somebody. So nothing can be created from dead matter or dull matter unless it's energized by the nimitta or the efficient cause, which is Lord Vishnu or Pratham Purush Mahavishnu. Okay, are you all with me on that?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay, great. Text 19. निज सृष्टि स्थिति प्रभु संचारे प्रधाने ईश्वरे शक्ते तबे होयत निर्माणे. Again, further explanation. The Lord infuses the material ingredients with his own creative potency. Then by the power of the Lord, creation takes place. So he's moving the wheel now. By transferring this energy to the dull matter, he's moving the wheel. And that's when the creation starts to happen. Okay? So it's the power of the Lord that causes the creation, not the dull matter. Okay? Again, same example. The mud can lie there for all it's want. There will be no cups produced. There's no pots produced until the potter gets involved. Text 20. Advait rupe kare shakti sanchar. Advait rupe kare shakti sancharan. Ataiva advaita hoyana mukhya karan. In the form of Advaita, he infuses the material ingredients with creative energy. Therefore, Advaita is the original cause of. So he's causing all this energy to go into dull matter that comes out as universes and all the constituents of the universes. Text 21. Advait Acharya Koti Brahmandere Karta or Ek Murte Brahmandere Bharta. Shri Advait Acharya is the creator of millions and millions of universes. By his expansions as Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, he maintains each and every universe. So really, Advait Acharya is the source of Garbhodakshaya Vishnu. So remember, Mahavishnu has two features. One of them is Advait Acharya. The Advait Acharya feature of Mahavishnu that creates the creation. Okay? Gayatri.
Yes, Prabhuji. I have a question. So, you know, when we talk about Charitamrita Vishnu, there is one that, you know, enters into each body, and he is, you know, he's the Paramatma teacher. But then you also have him inside each atom. Yes?
Yes, yes.
So, I mean, even dull matter then has like an aspect of Krishna or the Lord in it.
Okay.
But it is not active?
No, it's not active.
Because the jiva is not there, even though the Paramatma is there?
Correct. Paramatma is just there as a form of energy. That's it. It's like light. So light can fall upon dull matter all it wants, nothing happens.
So I'm saying jiva makes things move, not the Paramatma?
Okay. So jiva is the soul that gives the energy to the body it occupies and the consciousness so it can move. That's correct. Paramatma, what are the two functions of Paramatma? Updrashta and Mantacha. Just witnessing it and sanctioning it. Not doing anything else. In the jivas. In the atoms, it's just there as all pervading energy. That's it.
Okay.
So there's no energizing to make it active. An atom, how should I say it, doesn't suddenly start moving around because Paramatma is there. Although atom does move, moving like crazy, very fast.
Yeah, that's. I was just getting a little bit confused because it's almost like, like we're the inferior energy, but it almost sounds like until the jiva enters into a body, that body physically does not move.
Correct.
It's considered dull matter. Yeah, the body is dull matter, even though it has the Lord, an energy of the Lord in it, it's still not considered.
It's a different kind of energy. It's not the moving energy.
Yes. Okay.
And Prabhuji, isn't that Shiro Dakshaya Vishnu that enters as Paramatma in all souls, not Garbho Dakshaya?
Correct. Sure. Yes, I think she said that.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, maybe I misheard.
No problem. No. Okay. 22. Say Narayan मुख्य अंग अद्वैत अंग शब्द अंश करी कहे भागवत. Advaita is the principal limb, anga, of Narayan. Srimad Bhagavatam speaks of limb as plenary portion or ansha of the Lord. So the word anga, the limb, plenary portion, ansha, they are basically the same thing. Okay. Text 23. Naranastam nahi sarvadehinam atmasi adhikshakshila lokasakshi Narayano angam narabhu chalajanath Tachap Satyam Nat Maya. Translation. O Lord of Lords, you are the seer of all creation. You are indeed everyone's dearest life. Are you not, therefore, my father, Narayan? Narayan refers to one whose abode is in the water, born from Nar, the Mahavishnu, and that Narayan is your plenary portion. All your plenary portions are transcendental. They're absolute and are not created of creations of Maya. So who's speaking to whom? Anybody knows?
No.
Who is speaking to whom?
Lord Brahma to Krishna.
Yes. Correct. Very good. So this is after the Brahma Vimohan Lila. Brahma has come back to his senses and is offering his prayers to the Lord. So what is he saying? That, my dear Lord Krishna, you are the seer of all creation. Means you know what's going on. And then he says, are you not therefore my father? So who's the father of Lord Brahma?
Garbhodakashay Vishnu.
Vishnu, who's coming from Mahavishnu, who's coming from Mahasankarshan, who's coming from Narayan, who's coming from Sankarshan, who's coming from Balaram, who's coming from Krishna. Right? So this whole sequence, but ultimately, everybody's coming from Krishna. Brahma saying, you're my father. Okay, and then explains the meaning of the Narayan. So Nar is water, Ayan is shelter, a house, or palace, or whatever you would call it. So one whose house is on water is Narayan. That's one meaning. Okay, another meaning is Nar being living entities. So one who's a shelter of the ultimate shelter of living entities is Narayan. So what's that referring to? The ultimate shelter of the living entities. So referring to Mahavishnu, because the living entities end up in the womb of Mahavishnu at the end of the material world. Okay? Everybody with me? And it's that Narayan, now referring to Vishnu, is your plenary portion. As I explained, starting from Krishna all the way to Gavadasha Vishnu, from whom Brahma appears. All your plenary portions are transcendental. We talked about that. They're absolute and are not creation Maya. So there's no relative things. They're all absolute. An absolute platform and nothing to do with Maya. They're not creation of Maya. Okay. Text 24. ईश्वर अंग अंश चिदानंद मय माया संबंध नाई यही श्लोक कहे. This verse describes that the limbs and plenary portions of the Lord are all spiritual. They have no relationship with material energy. Right? So this is talking about the Vishnu tattvas. But even Jeev tattva, nothing to do with material energy. Right? We are spiritual also. It's just that we choose to associate with material energy. But we are superior. Right? What does Krishna say in the 8th chapter? When he describes text 4, he says, seventh chapter, I'm sorry, 7th chapter. Bhumi Rapo Anula Vayu Mano Man Kama Buddhi Revacha Ahankar Ityamte Bhinna Prakriti Ashuddha. Right? It says the 8 separated energies of mind. And then he says, how does it go? Something Partaram Prakritim Vidime Param Jeev Bhuto Mahabaho Jayadam Dharita Jagat. Superior to these 8 elements is the living entity or the soul. Just carrying on in the material world. So the spirit soul is superior to the material energy because it is spiritual. Material energy is the inferior energy. We're in the middle. The internal potency is the superior energy. Okay? Everybody with me?
Yes.
Am I losing you or are you okay?
We're okay, Babu.
Yeah, we are
Okay,
okay.
good. Okay, good. Text 25. अंश न कहिया केने कहतार तारे अंग अंश होते अंग जाते होए अंतरंग. Why has she been called a limb and not a part? The reason is that limb implies greater intimacy. How beautiful is that? Part could be a machine part. You don't say the limb of a machine, right? It's a limb of a body because that's attached to the body very intimately, right? If you sever somebody's hand, you say that's the part. But as long as it's attached to the body, it's a limb. How beautiful is that? I really like that. So Advait Acharya is not a part, it's a limb, anga, or plenary
Very nice.
portion. Yeah, very beautiful. Okay, 26. Mahavishnu Ansha Advaita Guru Dham Ishware Abhedipte Advaita Purna Nam. Shri Advaita, whose reservoir of virtues is the main limb of Mahavishnu. His full name is Advaita, which is identical in all respects with them. So they're no different, they're not different. Same potency, same everything. So non-different that most of us didn't even know that Advaita Acharya was a feature of Mahavishnu until we read this book, right? 27. पूर्व जैसे कैल सर्व विश्वेर सृजन अवतरी कैल एवं भक्ति प्रवर्तन. Has he formally created all the universes? Now that Advaita Acharya has descended to introduce the path of bhakti. So this is no ordinary person. Because an ordinary person cannot do what he was doing. What was he doing? He was converting all the residents of Kali Yuga who were solely into self gratification. So converting them into devotees of Krishna. Give up self gratification. Because basically, he came down, he looked at the people of Kali Yuga, and he spoke a very famous dialogue. Tera kya hoga Kaliya? Kaliya with the people of Kali Yuga. Those of you who watch Sholay probably understand that. So Advait Acharya is very concerned. That's why he went to the trouble of inviting Lord Chaitanya to appear. And we'll talk about that later. Text 28. Jeevan istarele Krishna bhakti kari daan. Gita Bhagavad kele bhakti re vyakhyan. He delivered all living beings by offering the gift of Krishna Bhakti. He explained the Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam in light of devotional service. I really like this. He offered the gift of Krishna Bhakti. Gift here, gift taken. But what does gift imply? You're not paying anything. It's being given to you. Sometimes you deserve it, sometimes you don't deserve it. And generally speaking, is the gift given because you love a person? I mean, of course, sometimes you give gift because you have some motivation behind it. You want something from that person. So you want a promotion, you give gift to your boss. But in a pure sense, you give gift to somebody you love. Right? So Advait Acharya was giving this gift of Krishna Bhakti to everybody because he loved them. That's the nature of the Lord. Okay? And he explained Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, in light of devotional service. To explain the bhakti angle of these two books. Not like modern day commentators of Bhagavad Gita talk all nonsense about how Bhagavad Gita is about karma yoga, or karma, or it's a fictitious narration of somebody. There was no Krishna, Krishna is the soul, and Pandavas are the five senses. On and on, so much nonsense. Nothing like that. Like Prabhupada did, a devotional angle to these books. That's how Advait Acharya explained this. So let's read the purport. Who read the?
Shall I read, Prabhuji?
Please go ahead.
Although Sri Advaita Prabhu is an incarnation of Vishnu for the welfare of the conditioned souls, he manifested himself as a reservoir of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And throughout all his activities, he showed himself to be an eternal servitor. Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda also manifested the same principle, although they also belong to the category of Vishnu. If Lord Chaitanya, Lord Nityananda, and Advaita Prabhu had exhibited their all-powerful Vishnu potencies within the material world, people would have become greater impersonalists, monists, and self-worshippers than they had already become under the spell of this age. Therefore, the personality of Godhead and his different incarnations and forms played the parts of devotees to instruct the conditioned souls how to approach the transcendental stage of devotional service. Advaita Acharya especially intended to teach the conditioned souls about devotional service. The word Acharya means teacher. The special function of such a teacher is to make people Krishna conscious. A bona fide teacher following in the footsteps of Advaita Acharya has no other business than to spread the principles of Krishna consciousness all over the world. The real qualification of an Acharya is that he presents himself as a servant of the Supreme. Such a bona fide Acharya can never support the demonic activities of atheistic men who present themselves as God. It is the main business of an Acharya to defy such impostors posting as God before the innocent public. Hari Bol.
Thank you, Prabhu. So one time somebody asked Srila Prabhupada, one of his disciples, Prabhupada, are you God? And Prabhupada actually got very angry. He said, that's a very dangerous thought process, because tomorrow you'll become a guru. Does that become you'll become a God? I said, absolutely not. A guru is servant of the Lord, servant of the servant of the servant of the Lord. And so we should always remember that Acharya is the one presents himself as servant of the Supreme Lord. It says here, right? And second thing, and we know this from the story of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, that at that time there was a man claiming to be an incarnation of Mahavishnu. And he had some yogic powers, tantras, tantric vidya also, tantric vidya. And he was misleading all sorts of people and claiming to destroy the Britishers and get India independence. And people were just flocking all over. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur exposed him and said, no, not God. We can't be God. And the great risk at his own health, health of the family, he exposed it. And finally, he actually committed suicide. This man. So anyway, the point is, that's what Acharyas do. They don't ever claim to be God, and they defy anybody who claims to be God. So that the innocent people will not be fooled. And third thing that Acharya does is to teach the conditioned souls about devotional service. Right? So, for example, Lord Balaram, it is said that Lord Balaram paves the way to Krishna. But Lord Balaram, as Guru, spiritual master, shows the way to Krishna. So that's the role of spiritual master or Acharya. And that is what Advait Acharya did. He showed people how to serve the Lord, how to perform pure devotional service. And by his own action, he proved the potency of devotional service, because he was able to invoke the Lord himself. Upon his call, the Lord appeared as Lord Chaitanya. He said, that is how powerful devotional service is. If you call Krishna, he'll show up. And that is what they say, if you chant the holy name purely, the holy name starts to dance upon your tongue. So, and then what happens? When you're chanting so purely, the holy name is dancing on your tongue. And then as you continue to chant more and more purely, the name turns into the form of the Lord. So now the form of the Lord appears in front of you. You don't have to artificially do that. It happens automatically. And when after the form has appeared, then his qualities start to appear in your vision. And when that happens, after that, the pastimes of the Lord start to appear. And after that, you start to participate in those pastimes. That is the power of pure chanting. That is the power of pure devotional service. And that is why they say, you perform pure devotional service, you have one last birth before going back to Goloka Vrindavan now. And that is in wherever Krishna is having his pastimes. You appear there as a gopi or a gopa, you get training, and then you go back to Goloka Vrindavan Dham for eternally participating in the pastimes of Krishna. So that's the level of devotional service Advait Acharya was showing the people of Kali. Okay. Any questions?
In the purport, it says that if they had exhibited their all-powerful Vishnu potency, then people would have become even greater impersonalists.
Correct. And that's referring to the point that a lot of people claim to be God.
Okay.
So if they had done that, they say, okay, there's other people, okay, then everybody can do that.
Okay. Okay, got it.
Right? Okay. Anybody else? Text 29. Bhakti upadesh bino tar nahi kar ateva naam hoil Advait Acharya. Since he has no other occupation than to teach devotional service, His name is Advait Acharya. So again, going back, same thing. As an Acharya is teaching us how to perform devotional service. Advait because it's non-different from the Lord. That's the name of Advait Acharya. Text 30. Vaishnava Guru te ho Jagatere Arya Dui Naam Milane Hail Advait Acharya. He's the spiritual master of all devotees and is the most revered personality in the world. That's the Acharya part. By combination of these two names, his name is Advait Acharya. Okay. Purport, Sri Advait Acharya is the prime spiritual master of the Vaishnavas and is worshipable by all Vaishnavas. Vaishnavas must follow in the footsteps of Advait Acharya. But by so doing, one can actually engage in devotional service of Lord. So learn from Advait Acharya how to perform. So there was a constant battle going on between Advait Acharya and Lord Chaitanya. Does anybody know what that was? Constant battle going on. So the battle was that Advait Acharya is a disciple of who's the spiritual master? Advait Acharya? Mahavendra Puri. Mahavendra Puri.
Mother.
And Mahavendra Puri is the spiritual master of which very famous personality?
Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
No.
Ishwarapuri.
Ishwar. Yes.
Ishwarapuri.
And Ishwar Puri is the spiritual master of Lord Chaitanya. Right? So, therefore, Lord Nityanand and Lord Advait Acharya were disciples of Mahavendra Puri, which means they were god brothers of Ishwar Puri, which means they were both like Guru of Lord Chaitanya. Advait Acharya is also 60 years older than Lord Chaitanya. So, like a father and like a Guru. So, Lord Chaitanya will say, I'm going to worship you, I'm going to touch your feet, I want to offer you obeisances, I want to worship you. And Advait Acharya will run away saying, what are you doing? You are my master, I'm your servant. So he would try to offer obeisances and serve him. So they were both trying to serve each other. That was the battle going on all the time. And Advait Acharya kept saying, I'm a servant, you must chastise me. Lord Chaitanya kept saying, no, you're like my spiritual master, you're like my father, I must worship you. So, okay, let me just go a little bit further. Advait Acharya got so frustrated, he said, and the devotee can do that. He said, I'm going to make Lord Chaitanya chastise me. He said, I'm going to make him do that. So does anybody know what he did? He started to teach Bhagavatam from an impersonalist perspective. Imagine that. Advait Acharya, the Lord himself, is now teaching Bhagavatam from an impersonal perspective, fully knowing what the reaction would be. Lord Chaitanya heard it. He got so angry, he was running to the place where Advait Acharya was teaching. Now, Advait Acharya is at that time 74, 75 years old. Remember that, maybe more than that. And he runs, and he's sitting on the Vyasasana, picks him up by his beard and starts slapping him in front of everybody. And it was so bad that his wife, Advait Acharya's wife, Sita Thakurani, came running. I said, Chaitanya, please leave him, he's an old man, he'll die. So the Lord Chaitanya left him and he started chastising him like anything. Advait Acharya stood there, folded hands and said, my dear Lord, this is what I've been asking for. What took you so long? So he just played that game because he wanted to get chastised by Lord Chaitanya. This is the degree of devotion of the personality who's the Lord himself, but in a 7-tone mode. Now that's an Acharya. If that's not an Acharya, I don't know what that is. Right? Any questions on that? Okay. Let's do 31. Kamal Nayanairatya ho tar ang ansh Kamalaksh Karidhare Nam Avtash. This is what we talked about earlier. Since it's a limb or part of the lotus-like Supreme Lord, he also bears the name Kamalaksh. So that was his name given. Okay.
Kamla.
Kamalaksh.
Yep.
Okay. 32. Ishwar Sarupa Pai Parishad Gan Chaturbhuj Pitavas Jashanarayan. His associates have the same bodily features as the Lord. They all have 4 arms, and are dressed in yellow garments like Nara. So again, anybody who has Sarupya Bhakti, they get the same body which is the Lord, and they live around. Advait Acharya Ishwarar Anshavarya Tar Tattva Nam Gushun Sakali Ashcharya. Advait Acharya is the principal limb of the Supreme Lord. We said that many, many times. His truths, his tattva, names, and attributes are all wonderful. Okay. Text 34. Jahar Tulsi Jale Jahar Hunkare Sugana Sahita Chaitanya Avatare. He worshipped Krishna, Tulsi leaves. I'm sorry, seeing. Okay. So, he worshipped Krishna with Tulsi leaves and water of the Ganges, called for him in a loud voice. Thus, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared on earth, accompanied by his personal associates. So, here's the story. Lord Advait Acharya had a Shaligram Shila. And he used to worship that Shila with Ganges water and Tulsi leaves. He would chant one verse. Tulsi dal matrena jalas chulukenava vikriditam samatmanam bhakta bhaktavatsalah. That Krishna is told to somebody who with love and devotion offers Tulsi with Ganges water to Shaligram Shila. That's the verse. And chant that, and then he'll do big hunkar to call Lord Chaitanya. And it's that mantra, that worship, that hunkar forced Lord Chaitanya to come down. Okay, that's being referred to in this particular verse. Okay, text 35. Jar dwara kaile Prabhu kirtan prachar, jar dwara kaile Prabhu jagat vistar. It is through him, Advait Acharya, that Lord Chaitanya spread Sankirtan movement, and through him delivered the word. So he had him teaching people to chant the holy name of the Lord. Acharya Gosain Kuna Mahima Apar, Jeev Kota Kothai Pai Bekatar Par. The glory and attributes of Advait Acharya are limited. How can this insignificant living entities fathom them? So, again, is the Lord unlimited qualities, unlimited attributes, unlimited glory? We can't really understand. Okay, I think we'll stop here with 36 verses today. Any questions or comments?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Ruchira here.
Hare Krishna, Ruchira, how are you?
Good, Prabhuji. This question always comes in my mind. It might be a little awkward to ask this, but why would he always does humkar and not literally shout and call literally out of frustration or?
No, there's no frustration. There's no frustration. He's calling out love. Love and devotion. His frustration is the people of Kali. So he wants to do something for them. So he's not going to complain to the people of Kali because they are the ones he's complaining about. Right? So in his love, he's making that sound.
Yep.
Okay, for the Lord, and the Lord is hearing that sound. It's called hunkar.
Okay. I mean,
Did I answer your question or not?
Yeah, I'm wondering, hunkar must have been quite loud. I mean,
yeah, enough to penetrate the Golok Vrindavan.
Yeah. Yes. His bhav was so high that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
See, I mean, you can't get purer than that. His Lord himself in the form of a devotee. Can't get purer than that.
Okay, Prabhuji, yeah.
Right? But I think we should maybe go back to the verse that I was quoting, that Advait Acharya was chanting. Tulsi dal matran jalas chulukenva. Vikriditam samatmanam. Vikrinitam Swaratman means Krishna saying, I sell myself completely to this person. Which person? Who is offering tulsi dal, which is that leaf, and jal, Ganga jal, to Shaligram Shila. But remember, Shaligram Shila is Sakshat Krishna. It's an installed deity of Krishna. I hope everybody knew that. Shaligram Shila is installed deity of Krishna, non-different. It may not look anything like Krishna, but it's Sakshat Krishna, Krishna himself. Installed, not a statue, not just an ordinary deity, installed deity. That's why we should not take the worship of Shaligram Shila lightly. A lot of people who are not even initiated, they have Shaligram Shila. Not good. A lot of people that are second initiated, they have Shaligram Shila. Not good. This is serious business. So Advait Acharya serving that Shaligram Shila. By the way, I've seen that Shila now. It's still there. And with his mantra of this dedication to the Shaligram Shila, his voice was being received by Lord Krishna. He said, okay, fine, I'm coming. So that's the power of worshipping Shaligram.
But we are in our daily basis, we keep the normal water, it's not Ganga Jal water with tulsi leaf in it, in front of our own purchased small features of Krishna, like Radha Krishna, or maybe Krishna's frame, or maybe Lord Chaitanya's frame. So we don't have Shaligram Shila.
Well, that's why we're still here.
Hmm.
Right? That's why we're sadhakas. We're trying to make progress. You know, Prabhupada said, we'll get there as long as you don't get off the train. So you got on the train called ISKCON, performing devotional service. As long as you don't get off it, you'll get there one day. So that's how.
When I initially got to know about bhakti, I was like, okay, fine, I'll do it in this lifetime only.
Oh,
but
sure.
as
Why
when
not?
we are getting to know more about it, it seems almost impossible, very tough.
But no, actually, you know what? I'll tell you a real story. My mother was speaking to her Guru Maharaj. And in all humility, she said, Guru Maharaj, I don't know how many more lifetimes before I go to Golok Vrindavan. And he chastised her. He said, why not this lifetime? It just means you have to work harder. Be more sincere. Always remember that says, all you do is chant Krishna's name once purely. And you automatically get a ticket to Golok Vrindavan now. Entry, visa, and everything. Once. So don't say it will be many, many lifetimes. If you're sincere, if you're serious, really, really trying, avoid the offenses, you can go. There's nobody saying you cannot go at the end of this life. Nobody's saying that. Let me tell you one other thing, Mother, because you brought this up. There's a very famous verse that appears in Nectar of Devotion. Goswami is quoting this verse. He's saying, Iha yas hare dasya mansa karmana gira. Nikhlashu abhi avasthashu jivan mukta sauchit. Anybody who by mind, body, and words is serving Krishna sincerely, he's already been liberated even in this body. So forget about leaving the body. Even in this body. So there's no reason why you cannot go back to Godhead after this body. It's all up to you.
नहीं प्रभु जी, ऐसा नहीं है. सब हम पर निर्भर नहीं है, थोड़ी हमारी सराउंडिंग्स भी मैटर करती हैं. और
No, Mate, my point is, we are the ones who are the main obstacle. If we try hard enough, there's nothing stopping us. At the end of this body, we go back on God. But we are ourselves our worst enemy. We are stopping ourselves.
Prabhuji, can I just add something? Something occurred to me.
Please. Sure, Mataji, go ahead.
Bhagavad Gita, that's what Bhagavad Gita says. You're not entitled to the results. Just do your action. So if we are doing bhakti and we are attaching ourselves to the result, that is, are we going to leave this body? Are we going to go to Goloka? That is defeating the purpose of the whole Bhagavad Gita.
Correct. But Krishna is giving the guarantee that, yes, you will come to me. You know, how many times he said, Mame Vashasi, Man Mana Bhoma Satto Madhyaji Mam Namaskar. Mame Vashasi. Right? Twice, 934, 1865. He says that.
Yeah.
Right? Other place also he says, you come to me, don't worry. Right? So he's guaranteeing it. He's guaranteeing it, but we are not willing to take that guarantee. Right? He even says, even if you're making mistakes, go back to chapter 9, text 30. Sorry. How does it go? How does it go? Somebody look up please 9:30. Chapter 9, text 30. Apche Sudhacharo Bhaitam Sadhresa Mantavya Samyak Basataisha.
Chapi Chetud Sudarshitaro Bhajate Mam Anye Bhav Sadhu Mantavya Samhita.
Right. So he's saying that even if you fall down, if you're completely engaged in my service, you're still a sadhu. And then he says, 9:31, he says, Chipram Bhavati Dharmatma, Shashashabdam Gachatu, Konte Prajane Name Bhakta Prachatu. That's 9:31. He says, and very soon you'll become a Dharmatma. So all we have to do is complete, subject was completely, in every which way, stay engaged in the service of Krishna, and we got the ticket. We're going. So don't short sell yourself. Just don't get off the train. Keep doing it.
I have a question, Prabhu.
Okay, Usha ji.
So, Prabhu, how can we decide that we are sincere? Only Krishna knows that are we sincere or not. So, being on that philosophy, I cannot expect that, oh, I'm going to go to Golukadam or Vrinda, Krishna Lok. So, because we don't know we are sincere or not.
Why don't you know?
I don't know.
Why don't you know?
And second thing,
you know if you're sincere or not. Honestly, everybody knows if you're sincere or not.
In other devotion services, sometimes chanting goes
then
here and there.
When you're fake, you know.
Yeah.
When you're faking it, you know.
Yeah.
Right? So don't tell me you don't know. You know. It's just that you don't want others to know.
No, but still Krishna knows that how much we are or not.
Agreed. So again, this is what Mataji was saying. So don't start working on I'm going there or not. Let Krishna worry about that. Your job is to serve with sincerity.
Just
your job
karma.
is serving with devotion. Your job is serving with love. You just do that. Give the rest to Krishna.
And one more question, that we are not initiated. So that is not we are not in the criteria of being sincere.
Well, that's fine. So that means you're not sincere. So when you're sincere, get initiated. Right? You say you don't know, but you said you know. So I mean, you know if sincere or not. Right? And it is true. You cannot go there until you initiate. So find a guru. Everybody. If you don't have a guru, find a guru. Otherwise, the connection is not made. Eventually, you need to have a guru. Whether it's today, tomorrow, day after, whenever you're ready for a guru, fine. But find a guru. But find a guru that you connect with. Not because I'm in a rush to go home, back home to Godhead, so they will let me get a guru. That's not how it works.
Yeah.
A genuine, bona fide, somebody you feel a connection with. Otherwise, it won't happen. Sometimes people force the guru to give them initiation. Yeah, you can force them, but then it doesn't come with blessings. So then you're not going. Again, that's not sincere. Sincere is when guru says, you look like you're qualified. But we keep telling the guru, no, I'm qualified, I'm qualified. I'm not let you go until you initiate me. Well, then it's artificial. That's not sincere. You may have second initiation, but it's no good.
I'm the saying opposite. I'm not qualified.
Okay, fine. That's fine. So one day, keep trying it. One day you'll become qualified. We're all trying to do that. None of us is qualified. We're all trying to become qualified. But that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. That's what we're saying. We're on that train. As long as we stay on that train, one day we will become one.
Prabhuji, can I ask a question? Quick,
Thank you,
just
Prabhu.
clarification.
I'm sorry, Shalini Mataji?
Just a quick clarification. The order of spiritual masters. So Madhavendra Puri was the spiritual master of Ishwar Puri, Advaita Prabhu, and Lord Nityanand. Is that correct?
Correct.
And Ishwar Puri was the spiritual master of Lord Chaitanya, correct?
Correct.
Okay. All right. Just wanted to clarify that.
Sure,
Thank
sure.
you.
No problem. Yes, sure. Anybody else? Okay. In that case, Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripasindhabhyavcha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Jai Shri Prabhupada.
Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Thank you
Prabhuji.
also.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna,
Thank you very
Prabhuji.
much.
Thank you so
Mataji.
much.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
But Bhakti Mataji, I want to let you know that I didn't see you when we started the class, and I said, she's not there. And the moment I said that, you appeared. Just how it is. Literally, the moment I thought that, you appeared.
Oh my God. That was just a coincidence, Prabhu.
Whatever, but you have some power somewhere.
Yeah, sure. I'll take that. You just made it my day. Good night, Prabhu. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Okay,
Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna, everyone.
Hare Krishna, Lord.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Pitashri.
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna.
Murthy.
Hare
Take
Krishna.
care. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Usha. So, Ruchira Mataji, give me a call, okay?
हरे कृष्णा पिताश्री, उषा का क्वेश्चन है, तो उषा के कहे कि अपने मन में ये करे कि हमें जाना है, हम अपने फादर से हम जिद करते हैं कि हमें आना है, तो फादर एक बार कह देगा इट्स ओके बेटा, आप आ जाओ, डोंट वरी.
Sure.
तो उषा आपने ये अपनाना है हम सब ने.
माता जी, नेक्स्ट ईयर आपको खुशखबरी मिल जाएगी.
वेरी गुड. वेरी गुड. थैंक यू.
That's great. Thank you.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.